Poorly. Did y'all see this? Did y'all see this, chat? So, by the way, I'm sorry I posted this. Disgusting. Ugh. Anyway, so the news came down that after a highly controversial bid, which, by the way, I have a theory. So this is going to be news report mixed with a little bit of, commentary from myself. I've told you, number one, Roc Nation is going at me vigorously. They feel like we're in war. They basically have declared war on me without declaring war on me. Okay. Remember, I just did a entire 7-hour deposition. They say they need another one. Could you hear that? They claim they need another one. They have filed over 45 new pages in court saying that I made a mockery of the process and I didn't answer a question. I was evasive. Now, I have the entire thing. I don't think I was. I think I answered every question. But it really was one question in particular that they are upset that I did not answer to their liking, right? Obviously, certain things I said they didn't like. It said, has anyone paid you to promote music? I said, a Roc Nation. And they're like, gritting their teeth. Ever since then, they've done very shady tactics. I met with Meta this morning. Shout out to Meta. I have a Meta rep. And while discussing, I have a ton of accounts on Meta and, we do our thing on Facebook. They brought up one thing in particular. And they said, well, hey, Roc Nation filed some stuff against you. What's going on with that? I said, well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a little bit bigger than what our business deal is. Roc Nation is targeting me at this point. Roc Nation had, in a roundabout way, paid to promote a song or promote a snippet, which was a Kendrick snippet that was on a Clips song. Clips is signed to Roc Nation now. And then they struck me having the songs up on all my platforms. I promote music. In the history of music promotion, you don't strike people to take down the music that you're trying to promote. You want it up. But, they're being petty. And I don't even know if they know that the people who they paid to promote the music that came to me, I don't even know if they know that those people came to me. Maybe they thought those people knew that we're in some squabble. So it's kind of clear at this point that Roc Nation is just not a fan of me. So I talked to Meta about them today. They want to get me in another deposition. And they're sending process servers, allegedly, to the crib every day. I don't know. So that's where we are with it. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you why I told you that. So Roc Nation is essentially, upset for a lot of reasons, but not just at me, at a lot of people. Roc Nation was incredibly upset that people kept talking about the allegation that Jay-Z, along with Diddy, sexually assaulted a underage girl back in the early 2000s. Obviously, they vehemently denied it. I want to be very factual. That case also fell apart. And the woman basically even came out, the woman now, she was a child then, she came out now to say that the lawsuit she filed, she was basically damn near coerced by her lawyers. Roc Nation's gone vigorously at that lawyer. That lawyer's name is Tony Busby. Tony Busby's a really successful personal injury lawyer, but he's been getting his money's worth, for lack of better terms, by Roc Nation's lawyers, who are very upset that he would sully the name of Jay-Z. Now, why did that matter? Obviously, Jay-Z has a family, and Jay-Z, no one would want to be falsely accused of some heinous shit like that. But it was an allegation. The real thing was that it fucked up a lot of things for Jay-Z. Jay-Z these days isn't concerned with putting out music, isn't really concerned with putting out artists. Roc, a fella that got sold and then was basically turned into Roc Nation, is primarily now focused on strategic businesses. And I'm going to be honest with you, not to get pinky and a brainish, but a plan to take over the world. Okay? So their new venture in trying to take over the world, because they did try sports management, but they were kind of quickly ousted for a little bit. They then, in a roundabout way, got back to sports after they snaked Colin Kaepernick, and Jay-Z said, we'll do the Super Bowl show. They've been doing the Super Bowl show, and you see not like us at the Super Bowl, right? It's all good. Their next big thing that was fucked up by this allegation was a casino deal. So there was New York State made available a particular amount of casino licenses that were going to be open in New York City. Now there's a casino already in New York City limits, but that casino doesn't have table games. This was going to be a full casino license, not just for slots and other stuff. Jay-Z, along with, I believe, Caesars and a couple other companies, got together in almost like a SPAC, if you know what that is when it comes to Wall Street, and basically said, we want to put in a bid to get a casino license for Times Square. We're going to propose a multi-billion-dollar project to revitalize, bring new money to the area, and be the place that is going to be the biggest casino in the world. Keep in mind, home of gambling is pretty much Las Vegas. And Jay-Z was pretty much picked to be the guy because just like how he did with the Barclays, he helped grease the whole thing with gentrifying folks out, getting the Barclays Center built, and also the owner, you know what I mean, with the Nets, getting the Nets to move there. That was partially the work of Jay-Z. Jay-Z's role in a lot of these business deals is that he has cultural favor. It's the reason why he told, he sat in front of the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and he said, we're done with kneeling. It's time for actionable items. And then he snaked Colin Kaepernick and he started running the Super Bowl. And people stopped kneeling. So Jay-Z's a guy who could make shit happen. So they gave him the role again. Make this happen for us, Jigga. Make it happen for us. We want to bring casinos to New York City, Times Square. Now, I'm going to give you the spoiler. Before they could do it, there was basically a neighborhood council that represented the interest of the people living in the business already operating in the area, had to vote on a panel to say if this would be approved. Okay? Essentially, they denied it and they rejected it 4-2 on a vote. After the vote, this is what happened. And this is by, I believe, one of the important people that was with SL Green, which is another partner that was on this entire thing. So it's Roc Nation, Caesars, SL Green.
You know it?
So this guy is complaining why they voted no.
We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides. Go run and hide. Because what you did, the benefits you denied this community and this city and state, you have to live with that history forever.
Wow.
You know it? We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides. Go run and hide. Because what you did, the benefits you denied this community and this city and state, you have to live with that history forever.
Okay. Well, give me 1 second. I'm pulling it together for y'all here. Okay. So, they're upset. Now, by the way, I want to make it very clear. I don't think me and Jay-Z have any personal issue. I don't even know if Jay-Z knows who I am. I do know Desiree Perez know who I am, and the reason why I would say she knows who I am is because of the leaked messages by the attorneys who deposed me that represent Meg Thee Stallion. However, they also represent Roc Nation. There was a leaked message there that they were reporting back to Desiree Perez what I was doing in the deposition, which is kind of odd, given the fact that they were claiming that Roc Nation had nothing to do with this deposition because it was Meg Thee Stallion versus Milagro Cooper However, this was taking on a life of a different home. Whatever, cool. So again, I might mention Jay-Z, but I don't think I have an issue with Jay-Z. But Roc Nation is much more than Jay-Z, because Roc Nation is, they're thirsty to be Amazon. They're thirsty to be Live Nation. And by the way, it's under Live Nation already. They're thirsty to be such an important conglomerate that has bullied the scene by force because of their cultural impact or their cultural equity or currency that Jay-Z specifically holds. Okay? So, they're upset that they didn't get this vote. I want to just say this before I get into the next part. I'm a big gambler. I gamble a lot. It's very interesting hearing this guy say, yo, all of these, like, you know, all of the stimulation to the economy and all of the benefits that this casino was going to bring to Times Square. I want to let y'all know, and this is me speaking unbiased, and I'm a gambler. Two of the most pieces of shit cities in the entire America is Atlantic City, which I live about like an hour from, and motherfucking Las Vegas, which I've been to a shit ton of times. Anywhere where gambling goes creates degeneracy, creates crime, creates dependency on said gambling, and usually depletes everything around it. Go look at any city that has multiple casinos in it, and you tell me if it has a thriving economy outside of them casinos. The casinos eat everything into it. The clubs get into the casinos. Everything gets into the casinos. Massage parlors start getting closer to the casino because they know what, if the casinos are there, you need to feed the people with the money, and people with money come to casinos, and then people without money, they then have to try to figure out how to get money from them, and it creates I'm telling you, it creates a ripple effect. For anybody who don't believe me, let me tell you this, and this is actual fact. I go to Atlantic City. I want to tell you my history with Atlantic City. In 2014, I had a regular job. That's the last time I had a regular job. I worked at Verizon in Brandsburg, New Jersey. I was a temp worker there. I was popping on YouTube, but I was too scared to quit my job because I didn't know if YouTube was going to last. I didn't know could be a real career. So I was getting like really good money from YouTube, right? I started monetizing the year before. I didn't know what it could be. So, you know, my mama, you know, my mom's an old school Jamaican woman. She says, never throw away sure for unsure. So I used to do YouTube videos in my car, in a parking lot, in my Mazda 3, in the back seat, and upload, but I would still work my job. To put it in comparison, I was a temp worker, even though I had a math degree, but I was getting so many loans, I just had to do some shit. I was getting about $600 a week as a temp worker, not full-time yet. And by the way, that's not even what I went to school for. I went to school for math. But I never ever used my math degree, right? I was getting so many loan letters saying, you owe this, you owe this. I couldn't just wait around for the perfect job. So I just got a job. And I had experience in fixing computers. And I was fixing computers at Verizon. I would get about $600 a week. Because I was temp worker, they paid me every week. I used to take the $600 I would get. They would pay me on Thursday. And after Friday, after work, I would drive to Atlantic City. And I would gamble the entire thing. Whole thing. Sometimes I would come up. Maybe I got $1,500. And I feel good coming back. But a lot of times, it was a really depressing 2-hour drive back up to where I used to live. When I realized I just worked for free. I lost all the money. Now, it's not about an addict or someone who is gambling whatever they got. That's not the point of why I'm bringing up this Times Square thing. Through my travels to Atlantic City, and anybody who's ever been to Atlantic City, but even Vegas, tell me if I'm not telling the truth. Outside of those beautiful casinos, big bright lights, they might comp your room. You see these big ballrooms. You know, a famous guy, well, not a famous guy, but somebody always tell me about these casinos when, you know, I would walk in there with bright eyes and my paycheck in hand, and I'm like, I'm finna win. They always said to me, how do you think they got this big-ass building, this great-looking? They ain't get this shit by losing to you. So you already knew what it was. But nevertheless, I still did it. The point is, while in Atlantic City and going there every week, I learned a lot more about Atlantic City. It had a boardwalk, had a beach. But I realized that there was really, they sculpted highways that if you want to go from one casino to another, because I used to go from Tropicana to Harrah's, and after a while I started partying at Harrah's, they would build a highway that drove straight there. Because it was about 4 miles away. That was interesting. You know, one time I didn't get on the highway. And I said, shit, I missed the highway. Let me just take the local route. I drove through the worst hood you've ever seen. And that's the thing with every casino. Every casino, you could go to Vegas, they build amazing roads that lead you from one casino to another. But drive through those neighborhoods. Go to every casino and drive 5 blocks to the left and see what you see. Trap houses, escorts. You see all type of crime. It's the most decrepit thing you've ever seen. It's in Vegas and it's in Atlantic City. Anybody think I'm wrong? Just go to any casino, turn your GPS off, forget them nicely lit signs that says, hey, take this up ramp to this freeway to get to, no. Just drive road by road, go to the shit with the 4-way stop, with the shoes, the fucking Air Forces on the goddamn thing, and see what you see. It's a symptom of what casinos do to a city. The economy in Atlantic City, every company that's not a casino left. So if you live there, you gotta either sell drugs and you're trying to sell it to the people who come there. You're either a dealer, you're working somewhere in hospitality. There's not much economy outside of those casinos. Why am I saying this? Even me as an avid gambler, and I gamble. I was gambling before this. I'm not here for you to feel sorry for me for gambling. I'm here to tell you the realities of gambling. There is not one city that is thriving and not any regular people that a casino has ever benefited. A very brilliant man, Warren Buffett, once said, gambling is a tax on the poor. And it is. So, I agree. Times Square, it's not the best place, by the way. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Times Square. You got your panhandlers, you got your hustlers. People come there and rob people too. But there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of stuff for tourists to do, a thriving theater, Broadway. There's a lot of different things that you could feel like you're in the greatest city in the world, which is New York City. So if you ask me, a casino in the midst of all of that, I don't think it's placed for that. Everything I've described, every city with a casino is not what you want New York City to be. It already has enough problems. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Bring that shit to Coney Island. There's already one in Coney Island, I believe. Bring it anywhere else, not Times Square. But that's me thinking as a regular human. When you have the Illuminati in them, who they just want to get it their way because they're gun-ho on taking over all this shit. They want to be, if you don't notice, that's why if you listen to my entire rant, you'll see everything coming together. They want to be a monopoly. They want to be Amazon. Okay? So this wasn't taken nicely. I figured one thing about this because I was looking around. I said, wow, Roc Nation took a L? Interesting. Now, I wanted to know who would report on it. Because did y'all notice that when, chat, I did some shit, I've seen them report anything about me and it's viral. The littlest thing. Viral. I took on 7 Roc Nation lawyers and gave them belt to ass. And I publicized the whole thing and not a peep. Nobody played it. And outside of our normal audience on Twitter, no one acknowledged it. And I said, maybe I'm falling off. I don't know. But that's not true, Chad. I keep telling you, when there is something critical, Van Lathan called me the other day, and you know, I don't think he was up to nefarious means, but when I schooled him on all of the suspect things Roc Nation was involved with, he said, I really didn't know. I said, well, now you do. What do you do with that info? I want to see who will talk about it besides me. When things like this come up, I always say, why am I the only one talking about it? Today I might have got the answer, chat. Today I may have got the answer. So I'm looking, I said, wow, Roc Nation caught a L? No way. No fucking way. I mean, I felt I gave them an L. But people didn't want to report that. Nobody want to report it. So I said, fuck. Who's going to report this? This is objective. I see it all over the place. Look, Roc Nation, Caesars. Look. No dice. Okay. NBC New York. Deadline, Rolling Stones. I'm like, wow, we cooking with grease. We cooking with grease. Meaning, I'm seeing fair coverage. This is not hate. This is about being fair. Because I've been having a sneaky suspicion that Roc Nation done paid off all these hip-hop niggas. Because when there's some time or something to criticize Roc Nation, everybody is quiet and everybody says the same thing. Well, Hov's my man. But I might be wrong. And I remember me being on the phone with Van Lathan. I said, I know I'm sounding like a cynicist, and I'm not a conspiracy theory. Like, y'all know I'm a math guy. I'm a logical guy. I'm a 1 + 1 is 2 guy. I'm not a guy who said, like, we deal in theories in math, but we don't live on those. We live on facts. So I was starting to think, maybe I'm tripping. Until I seen this. So I seen one outlet cover it. It's a big outlet. It's the Breakfast Club. Oh, shit. The Breakfast Club. I'm like, yes. I want to hear what the Breakfast Club has to say about Roc Nation. This is good. Let's see what this is about. Here we go.
LL Cool J, Lauren LaRosa.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just like, I'm cuckoo now. I'm Alex Jones. Maybe I'm Alex Jones. Remember I said Roc Nation is mad that a lot of outlets kept posting the Diddy Jay-Z thing. You know why? It's not about, like, obviously Jay-Z's reputation, but it was possibly optically affecting this proposal they had and might get their bid denied. Now, granted, that whole allegation looked like it's been, taken care of and it was seen as cap. But you know what they say about when people accuse you of certain stuff, that stench lingers. Anyway, now the voters came down. Their bid got denied. This is why I think they're doubling back around. And those who were critical or who kept posting it, they on their ass, i.e. me. However, remember at that time I said, why nobody talking about it? Remember I said that? And everybody had a different reason. They're like, oh, well. Okay.
Hey.
Hopefully not Atlantic City. Yo, Charlemagne, have you been to Atlantic City, brother? Have you been to Vegas? Have you walked outside of them beautiful casinos and then looked outside? I told you about the last time I went to Vegas. We went to the liquor store because, you know me, I can't be just getting charged of $30 a drink up in these casinos when I'm in my room. So I went to the liquor store, nigga, and my security told me, get in the fucking car. We're spinning. We send somebody in a thing. Niggas, it looked like we were about to get robbed. Vegas is the hood. In the direct vicinities of that goddamn casino.
I'm not for sure. I can tell you though.
Somebody said Cleveland's like that. Yeah. Nigga, when I went to Kendrick's show, I stayed at the casino hotel, and I ain't gonna lie to you. Yo, every time I went downstairs, I wouldn't even leave my room without security. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, y'all ready to shoot? Are y'all ready to shoot? Like, these niggas, like, I'm telling you, what?
Well, first of all, this is something that the community needed. So we received this.
The community needed a company that specifically specializes in taking money from them. Okay.
Statement.
I want to put this in perspective, y'all. I know it's a $5.4 billion investment, but you're telling me that a city, and especially a region, which is the biggest and the most popular in the entire world, that they needed Jay-Z and Roc Nation and Desiree Perez to save it. Nobody else would put $5 million there. Really? $5 billion, actually. Really? Huh. We just need Jay-Z to gamble over there. That was gonna save Times Square. Really? It's very ironic, chat. I want to make y'all aware. I want to make y'all aware that every poll that they did of the constituents that lived in the immediate area around Times Square, in large majority said they did not want a casino there. Yet they're saying this is why voting matters, like they wanted it.
Dollars. This is how.
But I do be thinking, like, damn, maybe I'm out of touch reality, or maybe I'm going through the Roc Nation. I'm going through the Roc Nation hate syndrome. So I started doing my Googles, my research. I seen this. I was confused. I said, I remember seeing an article saying that the residents, like over 70% of them, didn't want a casino. So the community board voting no to the casino, that seems on par with what the residents want. But here we have the radio station in New York City saying, that's why y'all need to do this, because these guys didn't do what y'all want. And I'm like, wait, did they change their minds? So I found an article. This is a great article. Inside the war over Jay-Z's New York City casino. Oh, this is great. Okay. Vanity Fair is going to help Akademiks Jones. We're going to say I'm Alex Jones. I must be like, I'm losing my mind. The math guy is losing his mind. He's just blinded by hate. Okay, let me read. Tens of billions of dollars, thousands of jobs, and quite possibly the fate of New York's most iconic industry, most awful tourist trap were all at stake. But the closing days of a year-long fight over whether to build the Times Square casino seemed to revolve around one man, Jay-Z. Okay. You could see it over the summer when Al Sharpton headlined a rally just south of Times Square at iconic red steps, saying yes, say yes this time. Yes time in Times Square. Wow. That stopped me and floored me, chat. I never heard about Al Sharpton during election. I didn't hear about him when the black chick who was trying to throw hot water on the cop who got shot. I haven't heard about Al Sharpton in a while, but Al Sharpton is rallying to get a casino. Huh? What the hell? Okay, whatever. Remember, it's Akademiks Jones. I'm losing it. He was shouting out, Jay-Z, Jay-Z. Interesting. You could see it last week on the Broadhurst Theater on the 44th Street, the site of the final public hearing for the first time. Promised, whatever. Everyone has a seat at the table with Jay-Z at the head. Huh. Supposedly, there was a billboard, and there's a picture of it. I'm going to find it. It's a huge picture saying yes to the casinos right over the place where the vote was going to happen. Hove, through his entertainment firm, Roc Nation, poured hundreds of millions into a stake in a project. And according to the CEO, Desiree Perez, they joined Holiday's company, Green and Caesars, and spending millions more, promoting it to sometimes wary lawmakers, municipal bureaucrats, public at large. The goal? To secure one of 3 licenses for casinos in the New York City area. On Wednesday, everything fell apart before the bid could even be considered by the state's regulator. It had to capture 4 of the 6 votes from a community advisory committee. So think about it. The community voted no. And everybody is mad at the community saying that y'all don't know what's good for y'all. Interesting. All appointed by local politicians. Now, I think that's why they were mad, honestly. The vote happened after years of buildup, and the community decisively rejected the bid 4-2 against Jay-Z's big play in Times Square, despite support from the mayor and the government of New York. The Times Square casino deal is dead. Wow. It's a massive loss for all the partners in the Times Square casino project, including the most famous one, whose up from nothing, keep close to the street story was at the center of the closing arguments. We from these neighborhoods. By the way, I think there's a video of it. Let's try to play it. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I can't find it. Whatever. Okay. Anyway. So he says, we from these communities. We from these neighborhoods. We hear a lot of talk about community. We are the community. Now, it's very interesting when Jay-Z says that in 2025, knowing that maybe at one time he lived in Marcy. Maybe at one time he lived in Brooklyn. But where Jay-Z lives now, Jay-Z, Beyonce, 200 million home. This is where they live, chat. Not Ein. They bought it. Okay? They bought a $200 million mansion in Malibu. They live in Malibu. Why the heck? They don't live in Times Square. This is where they live right here, chat. They live here. There's no casino next door. But they want to tell you the casino going to be good for you. But not for where they live at. Where they live at, it's on a hill. I want to let you know this. It's on a hill. It looks down here. And LA's way over there. They don't live where a bunch of niggas live. Just to let you know. $200 million. So when you hear Jay say, we talk about community and we the community, that's very interesting. He says, we're not saying give it to us because we black, Hispanic, or female. That's what Desiree said. She says, nah, that's what we're saying. Of course not. We're saying don't ignore who we are, what we stand for, where we come from, where we've been, and what we've accomplished. Please don't ignore that. For those opposing the casino, remember they said the people wanted it, it's politicians that stood in the way. Here's who opposed the casino. The theater types who worry that tourists might gamble away their Broadway money or that a casino might poison the delicate ecosystem. They might create traffic Armageddon in Midtown. Well, to borrow a phrase from a different rapper, Not Like Us, Jay-Z's allies argued that the opponents weren't just a bunch of finger-wagging hall monitors standing in the way of thousands of black and brown people getting casino jobs. So the people were backing Jay saying, our goal is to get people casino jobs. You ever date a girl who worked at a casino, or you ever worked at a casino yourself? They say they get paid minimum wage, $4, $5 an hour. They live off tips. Where does tips come from? Tips from the people that are gambling their fortunes away. So that's the jobs they are trying to create. People who get paid below minimum wage and then have to rely on other people losing money that they could get tips that they could feed their family. Really. That's what they're trying to say. This is the money creating situation that's going to help the people by Big Jay-Z, Roc Nation, and Desiree Perez. Interesting. They were, according to Sharpton, Al Sharpton, oligarchs, an iconic word of choice given Jay-Z's billionaire status. But the opposition had his own case to make. The case ultimately prevailed. Casinos were not only dangerous to the theater community, they argued, they rarely brought the revenue they promised. See Atlantic City. Trump even went there saying, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. He shortly left. One of the casinos in upstate New York, for instance, is pursuing a deal with the county right now. worth up to $585 million to stay afloat. A lot of risk with little reward. What's more, casinos tend to bleed money from the sorts of communities Jay-Z says he represents. Exactly what I said. A casino is predatory to the people who get that $600 paycheck. When I was a person making, you know what $600 is a week? Times the time 52. It ain't that much, my nigga. Okay? It was about like, I think I was getting about like $36,000 after tax. That was my yearly pay. And I was taking that money hoping to, I always had aspiration of being wealthy and having money. And I would take it and dump it into casinos. Those are the people primarily casinos prey upon. It was me at that time and the people in Times Square that is nickel and diamond is going to prey upon them. I don't know how Jay-Z thought he could convince hardworking people that bringing an institution to prey upon them would help them. How? But somehow, because we've allowed Jay to do everything, he tried. Promises to the contrary were empty and even harmful to the community, kind of like the ones from former casino owner who's now in the White House. And in New York City, that man is hated more than Jay-Z's loved. They're talking about Trump. Jay-Z's interest in the casino goes back over 15 years. He's been trying to get it in 50 years. At the time, New York State was looking to build a slot parlor near the decrepit Aqueduct horse racing track. One of the bidders tapped Jay-Z for informal marketing and community advice. That bidder eventually won, beating out SL Green, but after that deal collapsed, Resorts World, a subsidiary of a Malaysian firm, was given an Aqueduct contract instead. Today, that depressing slot parlor is not far from JFK Airport, and it's the most lucrative gambling hall in America outside of Las Vegas, bringing in nearly $1 billion in annual gambling revenue. What am I saying, Chad? They have realized that in New York City, with the amount of money that is here, you could get the most amount of people losing money to create revenue. That's why New York City is such a great market. Las Vegas is always going to be number one for gambling. But New York City easily could be number 2 or maybe number 1 if you get one in Times Square. The most visited tourist attraction in terms of city, local area in the world. Jay-Z and Roc Nation continue to explore casino deals. In 2022, SL Green chief Mark Holliday was chatting with Jay-Z courtside at a Brooklyn Nets game. Do we have the picture? Do we have the picture? Oh, we don't have the picture, huh? But they were courtside at a game. Maybe they discussed or they tried to get that into a higher stakes contest for one of the license of a full-blown casino in or around the city. Holiday and Perez were both honorees at a local charity a few days later. They started ironing out the details. Roc Nation announced its involvement in the Times Square casino bid at the end of the year. Not long after, the Broadway League, which represents theater owners and producers, began mobilizing against support against it. What unfolded was a miniature political campaign similar to what was happening almost a dozen sites. On one side, the promise for more work and the buzz that comes with billions of dollars in economic activity. On the other, fears that a casino would leech more from the neighborhood that it would add. Every casino bidder promised hundreds of millions in improvements in the community around them. Each casino bid faced opponents who noted those payments were around an error compared to the money to be made. The ultimate goal for the campaigns were to persuade those 6 people on the Community Advisory Committee to vote their way. Remember, the Community Advisory Committee is supposed to represent the community. That's why I was surprised when Charlemagne said, this is why y'all need to vote, because he was alluding to the fact that maybe the people on the the Community Advisory Committee did not vote for the benefit of the people in the community. Interesting. Early on, the Times Square group approached State Senator Lisa Kruger. She may have been a die-hard gamble opponent. And she said, I voted against bingo in church basements, she once told me. But she controlled one of the 6 votes on the Times Square Community Advisory Committee. In a Zoom meeting, she said the casino team asked her if she wanted to meet Jay-Z. What? Why? I don't like his music in particular. And this is where Kanye, you ring true. What did Ye says? What he says? What did Kanye says? I know he right now in Australia or something. No, he can't go to Australia. He's somewhere in the world. Even if you in a Benz, you still a nigga in a fucking coupe. JC found out that the hard way. They tried to sweeten the deals by saying, you want to meet Jay? You're going to hear, they're going to even offer up Beyonce. You want to meet Beyonce? Beyonce will come hang out with your kids. Anything to make the deal. Remember, Jay got people to stop kneeling. Jay got people to leave their houses for generations that it could be demolished and the Barclays could be built. Jay-Z could do anything. Jay is the ultimate savant when it comes to convincing niggas to give up on everything they love in his pursuit of ultimate profit. So one of the votes was controlled by the state senator. They said, hey, you want to meet Jay? Yo, you ever hear that song, Ace to the Izzo? You ever heard that? You ever heard her response was, why? I don't like his music particularly. She said, they're like, you don't want to meet Jay-Z? What? Well, hold on. All right, it's all good. It's all good. You don't meet Jigga. It's all good. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We got another one. We got an ace in the hole. You know who we married to, right? Come on, man. Yo, you know who he married to, right? Huh? She didn't meet Beyonce. You never heard that song? Oh, you don't know that one? Oh, okay. You ever heard the song? Oh, my single ladies. Oh, my single ladies. You know where they probably lost the senator? I know you gonna be, girl, I know you know this one. Pat your weed, baby. Pat your weed. And the senator probably be like, I don't know that. I don't want to meet that woman. Roc Nation, I know. Y'all send people here. By the way, Roc Nation sent people to my house for the last 4 or 5 days. That's what my housekeepers have said, allegedly. I haven't been to my house. So I guess after this video, someone will be here tomorrow again. Process service. Costs a lot to tell the truth, chat. Remember that. There's somebody at Roc Nation right now that's probably saying, yeah, how much you think we could have paid Act for him just to not do all this bullshit, man? Should just get a nigga $3 million. Get this nigga out the fucking way. Now, the truth is worth more. Remember that. She didn't want to meet Beyonce. Wow. So, let me get this straight. This ain't about the jobs no more that could be brought to the community. This is not about the ecosystem that could be interrupted. This is about, do you want to have a private meet and greet with Jigga? Oh, no? Do you want to meet Beyonce? Really? Okay. And that's what billions of dollars was going to determine on. You want to meet Jay? You want to meet B? Not even when Jay-Z went up to the state capitol in Albany this May. But a Times Square casino crew used other ways to make their plan more convincing. They recruited people. What? Keep in mind, you heard what I read up above? They spent hundreds of millions. I want y'all to see it. Look, Hove, through his entertainment firm Roc Nation, poured hundreds of millions into a stake in the project, in spending millions and millions promoting it to sometimes weary lawmakers. They spent hundreds of millions for this. Okay, let's keep it going. So they don't want to meet no Jigga. They don't want to meet no Beyonce. Okay? But they did recruit a couple people. They recruited former NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton, who came up with a $78 million plan to secure the neighborhood. So clearly they were getting people were saying, yo, this is going to bring crime. I told you the story about Atlantic City. These are the most crime-ridden places that is decrepit outside of these casinos. And it brings unscrupulous individuals because people who come here have big bankrolls and it's fast money. Fast money is going to bring drugs and people who want to take the fast money. Okay. So, they got former NYPD commissioner. They got him and they paid him, I think, to come up with a $78 million plan that's going to secure the neighborhood. So New York City, you ever been to Times Square? They were going to have drones flying around just to see the crime and figure it out. And it's going to be like Big Brother all over again. Hey, criminal, stop. Put that gun down. Take your knife down. Do not take her purse. Do not take her purse. Police is coming. We were going to live in a utopian society because Jay-Z want to bring casinos because there were going to be drones hovering around the Times Square area that crime doesn't come. Oh, really? Jay got it all, man. Jay got, that's some shit. By the way, they talk about journalists and shit like that. With all due respect, surely I'm no longer beefing with you. You wave the white flag, so, and I've forgiven you. I'm trying to not beef with women and going into 2026. Lauren LaRosa. This part you won't read, though, right? Like, this don't got no part during the Breakfast Club segment. Maybe it does, but maybe you missed it, because I know you're the journalist, and I'm not. Maybe you will try to give some light to this tomorrow? I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'll be tuned in. So the former commissioner, sound like he got recruited, or they say it, he got recruited, came up with a plan. Drones and private security force. Oh, wow. Interesting. New York City. Which city has the most police? It's New York City with 36 uniform officers. By the way, I don't think any other place has even over 20,000. So already New York City has the most police officers in the entire United States. Look, I look. Which city has the second most police? It's Chicago, and they have 11,000. So New York City has 33,000. Chicago has 11,000. Now put it like this. They're clearly almost admitting the fact that crime is going to go up when they're saying that the 33,000 people, cops in New York City is going to need more people when they're like, hey, okay, I know we got 33,000 more people, but if you give us the casino, we'll get a private security force. Oh, wow. Okay, we got drones in the sky, private security force. I guess we're anticipating some extra crime here. Okay, all right. This is, go back to what Charlemagne said. This is what the residents were signing up for. This is what they're missing out on. Okay. They pledged to buy tens of millions of dollars of theater tickets to boost the economy. And then they were going to pour into local charities. Of course, you can do that when you're robbing everybody who's coming to Times Square. They even made the point over and over again that operating a casino in Times Square isn't like doing it anywhere else. It's not like we're trying to stick this casino between some residential neighborhood, like super quiet. Desiree Perez says. It's supposed to be live. It's supposed to be loud. Let's go. But there's plenty of locals in the neighborhoods or around Times Square. On October 16th, the Times Square Casino team hosted an 8-hour free buffet for the locals. The rapper Fat Joe. Wow. They had Joey Crack there? Oh my God. Yo, we got free croutons and we got what? Free burgers and we got Fat Joe? I'll bring the casino on. Come on, man. Fat Joe showed up to lend his support. Really? Okay. One prominent local community advocate told reporters she wasn't that impressed. She wasn't that impressed. Give me a second, chat. I told you Roc Nation been here every day. I got to make sure. I hear my dogs barking. The ops might be close. The ops might be close. Let me tell you this. Everybody tell me I got too many dogs, and I say, listen, I got a few lines of defense. If all else fails, Pluto, get him. Anyway. I done turned this shit into a bunker, huh? I love it. So anyway, one prominent local advocate told reporters she wasn't that impressed. This is what a local community advocate said. I think it's a predatory business. Why would you think that? I've only been spelling out the same thing, but okay. This was the president of the Tenants Association. So remember, according to the Breakfast Club, this is why people need to vote, because the voting public aren't being represented. Now we get to find out the president of the Tenants Association thinks casinos is a predatory business. Okay. It's a massive apartment complex with subsidized units for people working in the arts. LaFargue grew up in Atlantic City. Didn't I tell you about Atlantic City? She explained where casino promised to lift up the local economy, but did the opposite instead. The association joined the Broadway League No Times Square Casino Coalition. The following September, LaFargue struck a more conciliatory tone. You know what that means? Wait. Changing their minds. We are to listen to what they gotta say. So she went from saying, I think casinos are predatory. But the following September, she then says, let's listen to what they gotta say and what they gotta offer. She said, as executives from Roc Nation and SL Green prepared to make a presentation. Shortly thereafter, local news outlet, The City, published a unsigned $20,000 monthly contract for LaFargue to provide strategic counsel. She says is predatory. They said, hold on now. We got 20 bands a month for you. She said, let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. Okay. Why was she getting 20 bands a month? Or why was the offer for 20 bands a month? For her to provide strategic counsel. You know, she could strategize. Remember, she's like the head of the Tenants Association. She could strategically figure out, yo, this is the first floor time to go gamble. Third floor, y'all turn right now. Go gamble. Go lose y'all. Make sure y'all got rent too, though. Make sure y'all got rent. Okay. 20 bands a month. Okay. Desiree Perez said it was for strategic counsel. Strategic. Got to figure out what strategies to use and got to hire her. Now, she also said that LaFargue never signed the deal, but they said they continued to speak to her. LaFargue continued to be a conduit to the community. It was one of many such offers, Perez added. We have another community leader that did take a consulting fee. Perez doing what she does best, telling again. You think these people want to be outed as taking money from y'all to try to sway the community? But look up Perez's history. We have another community leader that did take a consultant fee and did sign up for us to work with her so she could lead. LaFargue initially gave several conflicted explanations in her response, but today maintains she has never consulted for the casino. Ironic. This July, Perez announced that the casino would give $22 million over 15 years to the Manhattan Plaza and put 0.5% of the casino's profits into a trust controlled by the residents. Considering the project bill to remodel 1515 Broadway into a casino would come out to $5.4 billion, that stake could be beyond lucrative. Alicia Keys. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Alicia Keys? What? I ain't gonna lie, chat. If I was on this committee and all of a sudden this is their day to go make a bid, should I vote that Jay-Z gets his big camera look? I mean, Jay-Z gets his face on the casino and I'm ready to vote? Nah, I don't think so. No. And all of a sudden they said, before y'all vote, we got one more person to talk to y'all. Come on in. And all I hear was, lay your head on my... Wait, how I go? Be like, yo, I can't even sing. I gotta sing it. No, I gotta have her sing it. We might get copywritten, but fuck it. This is my song. This shit right here? Oh my God. Jay-Z, just take our money. Jay-Z, take my pockets. Take it. Rob me blind. Nigga just brought out Alicia fucking Keys. Chat, I gotta be honest. I would have kept my composure with Fat Joe knock-knees ass coming out talking about lean back. I'm like, man, get your stupid ass. Nigga, you trying to get a lien on my house with all this dumb shit talking about we should vote a casino. Get out of here. But Alicia Keys walking through that door. What? Chat, I might have to vote. I'm bribed. Y'all bribed me. Y'all got it. Y'all bribed me. It's okay. It's okay. Y'all bribed me. We not done. Alicia Keys, a Roc Nation client, who grew up in Manhattan Plaza, reportedly met with residents. Did she play the piano or she just talked? Later that day to talk up the deal, the Tennis Associations withdrew from the anti-coalition. Oh, so the Tennis Association withdrew from the anti-casino coalition a few days after that. You see what celebrityism does to people? Ugh, fuck it. Residents' reactions were mixed, however. More than a few were worried that the grant had hidden strings attached. There were disagreements about whether to accept the casino funds. So the $22.5 million was withdrawn and redirected to a broad-based community fund. All the while, bold-faced names continue to join the casino cause. The Wire, Wendell Pierce. Who's that? What? Oh, hell no. I love The Wire. Ain't that the nigga who was in The Wire like, shit? Ain't him? What? Take my money. Just rob us. Jay-Z, just be a billionaire. We'll be broke. Just go, Jay-Z. Take it. Just take it, Jay-Z. Take our money. Just take it. Just take it. You want to be richer than God anyway. Just take our money. God damn it. You got the nigga from The Wire coming and tell us that this is good? Oh my God. You got it, Jay. But it don't end there. He signed on after a $10 million pledge to support traditionally black theaters. Here's the good thing. He's the actor. Sharpton, who is also long supported casino projects, got on board with this particular one early this summer. Months later, the casino team made a $15 million pledge to build a civil rights museum. Charlemagne? Oh, hell no. Oh, my God, dog. I know that ain't who I think it is, bro. I know this ain't. Yo, this is my brother. I know this ain't who Charlemagne? I know this ain't who I think it is, bro. Charlemagne? Popped by a casino association committee hearing and expressed his support? I'm going to be honest with you. Charlemagne is my nigga so much, I don't think he could be bought. This must be like a mistake. He must have been just hanging in New York City with nothing to do. Somebody texted him and he just swung by, probably was looking for like, you know what I mean, He was trying to see the Alicia Keys performance, and he was just caught up in the mix, and they just gave him a mic, and he said a couple words, and it's no way. It's no way. It's no way. There's no way. Charlemagne's my nigga. He could never be bought. That's my nigga right there. That's my guy. That's my boy. He couldn't be bought. But I don't know how he got to this meeting. What the hell? Yo, Charlemagne, you got to tell us that you've been to the meetings when you're reporting about this on the Breakfast Club. Like, we were listening to this shit on the Breakfast Club thinking you ain't. Yo, I feel like Lil Baby after I heard the Young Thug tapes. I'm trying to figure out every reason to tell you my man ain't doing what you saying he doing. This is my man's. Charlemagne's my man's. He would never. Yo, chat, I might have to go on a Lil Baby hiatus. This. Yo, I feel like Lil Baby when he heard the Young Thug tapes. He been the whole time, he been like dapping up Thug like, fuck these rats, man. Yeah, nigga, fuck these rats. Like, yo, wham, let's go crazy on these rats. Yeah, Slime, let's do it. Yo, take my number. You call me anytime. I keep promises. It's like you start seeing Tweety Birds around here. You're like, wait. Yo, Charlemagne, you got to get a Vanity Fair, man. Yeah, I fuck with Charlemagne. I think they're slandering Charlemagne by putting his name in here. Charlemagne, you got to get at these niggas because they trying to act like, let's be clear. I'm just going to speak directly, and Charlemagne's my nigga. Like, I'm not even being like slick or phony or nothing like that. Charlemagne, I don't think you got paid by Roc Nation. Because the person I know you to be, that wouldn't be within your character, from what I know, to take money to push poison to a community and get on the radio and repeat said words to the entire New York City that listens to your show, especially the black community. You talk about mental health. You talk about a lot of great things. And to be honest, like you do know, I look up to you in some of the evolutions and maturation I need to get to myself. I don't think you would take money to peddle poison. I don't think so. I don't think you would knowingly do it. But I do want to say your name being in this paragraph where they basically hint that, or they allude to paying for Bill Bratton, who was a former NYPD commissioner. And you could say it's not getting paid for, but they recruited him and he came up with a plan. But the plan is to support their deal. They got Fat Joe who works there. They got Alicia Keys who works at Roc Nation. You're not a Roc Nation artist or a person that's represented by them. They then apparently or allegedly turned Aleta LaFargue, who was representing the Tenants Association, into a damn near almost supporter for $20,000 a month. I don't think Charlemagne the God would ever put his reputation in limbo like this. I'm going to be honest. I hope he clears this up expeditiously. And I'm not being funny. I don't think that there is a $sign associated with his thought. But it does look that way. And it looks fishy. Because they mention your name in line with a bunch of other people that seemingly have $signs associated with their pledge. Wendell Pierce, he's an actor. But you could tell it's like a political bill. He signed on after they made a $10 million pledge to support black theaters. No matter what happens, he can say, I got $10 million funded for black theaters. That's why he signed on, right? They got Al Sharpton, who they made a $15 million pledge to build a civil rights museum. I guarantee that $50 million to build that civil rights museum, that museum was going to be called the Al Sharpton Civil Rights Museum. I guarantee. So he was going to get something out of it. This is why I don't believe Charlemagne was actually And I hope not, because I don't see what he got, unless it's just for like a little paycheck. He popped by a hearing and said he supported. It's vague. Charlemagne, I love you. And I look up to you so much, I want you to just clear this up for me, okay? Fat Joe and Alicia Keys, they work for Roc Nation. They gotta do what's told. Respectfully to you, Fat Joe, I want no smoke, I love you. But you work at Roc Nation, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Right. They weren't the only backers. Several of the city's most powerful unions supported this because of the jobs they'll provide. They'll help convince mayor frontrunner Zoran Mandami to table his previous oppositions to casinos. But there's been consistent opposition. Saks Fifth and whatever. Let's see if we see any other more names. Despite Bratton, so that's the former NYPD commissioner, who guarantees that a 5-star resort like this won't bring back Times Square sleaze, residents who attend these committee meetings say they're scared. Then there's traffic, which is already a nightmare. Then the most important are the fears that it could screw up the theater scene, and it's enjoying a post-COVID boom. But the community woes, there are never that many flops away from a bust. They don't want added risk. All our theaters are here. A casino could go somewhere else, but we can't go anywhere else, okay? All right. Sharpton, for his part, brought things back to Hove. He stressed the broad burst that Roc Nation would give the casino diversity at the ownership level. You're not just a given token. Jay-Z's nobody's token. He's the token booth. Okay. It's a great turn of phrase for New York of a specific age who remembers when it took a coin to get on the subway, it didn't get out of the project station. Casinos need a uniquely strong degree of community buy-in. Despite extensive outreach by applicants, the level of support has not materialized. The appeal to Jay-Z as an aspirational avatar and genius was not enough, not in place, not in a place that's inseparable from Broadway and the theater. Around New York, around the world, Jay-Z's an icon. In this neighborhood, he's just another motherfucking businessman. Wow. Strong. I think someone's sending me the audio of Jay-Z trying to convince these people. Let me see if I can find it. That was very interesting. Very, very interesting, my people. I would love to hear, my reporting is not that credible. I would love to hear Lauren LaRosa, who I see some people like to prop up. I would like to hear her take on this article. Or maybe they don't talk about it at all, just move on and life goes on, right? Okay. In other news,